McCarthy Auto Group is one of the largest auto groups in Kansas City, let alone the Midwest. It operates a total of 10 dealerships throughout the region. Whether you're looking for a quality used car in Blue Springs, Missouri, or a new car dealer in Overland Park, Kansas, McCarthy helps you cross each T and dot each I. And our commitment goes beyond the dealership. We continue to impact the lives of young student athletes in our area to propel them into their futures. And we are proud to partner with PrepsKC and present the McCarthy Elite team.
Are you elite? When the game is on the line, you make that big tackle, break the long run, throw that block, make that kick. Are you the best of the best in KC? Well, starting this season, a new standard will be set. The most exclusive postseason honor in Kansas City high school football. The PrepsKC McCarthy Elite team. Only 28 players will earn this distinction, from quarterback to kicker, defensive lineman to returner. It's not about the stars next to your name. It's about what you do on the field. Will you become part of the elite? The PrepsKC McCarthy Elite team.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at those elite athletes now as we bring in our own Cole Young. And Cole, you're going to do a little double duty if you're listening to all 2 hours, and I think everyone should at one sitting. You're going to talk a little elite quarterbacks. It's the first group that we are showing on this week. We've got a story up at PrepsKC.com and some good names on there. And I think the one that leads the way to me is Tate Nagy, mainly because everybody knows who his dad is. But he's a really good football player for Blue Valley West.
Yeah, that's one that jumps out, right? And it's he obviously had a good career, Blue Valley West. We are expecting to have a pretty good season with a lot of guys back, and I think, I there's no reason he won't have one of the best seasons in Kansas City this year.
Yeah, no doubt. And he's a thrower and a runner, though. That's one of the things I think that people might think of, that he's not. He's a good athlete. He can move around the pocket. Talking to other coaches last year and heading into this year, just the danger of him getting outside the pocket is almost as scary to them as him being inside the pocket and picking you apart. And he's got a pretty veteran team around him, so expect him to put up some good numbers. He jumped across the state line. A guy who had a big play, even though he didn't have a great percentage night against Blue Springs South. A lot of that had to do with Blue Springs South. Is Tillman Martin. Liberty North had a big play there at the end to get them a touchdown, to get them close enough to where they got the field goal to win that game. And he's kind of more your classic big time, big 6'4", big armed kid. And, he's got a state championship under his belt already as he enters his senior year.
Yeah, and not to go into breaking down that game too much, but you knew when he got the ball there, he kind of walked out on the field and just kind of put a calming presence on that offense. And I was watching it live, and I thought, if I'm Blue Springs South right there, I'm thinking, oh no, here's this guy who that's what he did, right? And that's what you expect an elite quarterback to do, is just, it's kind of, not to reference Tom Brady or somebody like that, but you know what I mean? They would get the ball, and it's like, oh crap, here they come with a guy who's going to will you to the end zone there.
And that's, as we go through the elite team process, there's going to be some people who put up some, video game time numbers. But are you walking on the field down 8 with 3 minutes to go, have the ability to hit that big play? And, talking to Blue Springs South coaches, that they got a little, maybe didn't love their defense, but also was said that that was great routes run by the Liberty North, great fall, got him open, and Martin hit him. That's the other thing, too. This is high school football. There's plenty of guys who overthrow guys deep or underthrow guys deep. Hit him in stride and got the big touchdown. In that game also was Aiden Wilhelm, a junior, who, when you talk to Andy Learman, he talks about that they couldn't tackle him. And when he got out in space, was dynamic, and he throws a good ball as well. So there's another dual threat guy, much like a Tate Nagy.
Yeah, I think so. And, he really, what that does, and, take Liberty North out of the equation, who obviously has a very good defense. Some of these other defenses are going to have a problem with him, I think. Are you going to commit to containing him? Well, then he's probably going to be able to hopefully pick you apart. Or if you're going to cover his guys, you're going to see some weeks. I think he could run for 80, 100 yards probably.
Yeah. Talk about a guy who can run and probably runs as well as anybody. Is Banks Bowen out of Lawrence. He's a dual threat guy. I think he's a Tulsa commit, which that doesn't matter for the elite team, but he's got a chance to kind of will Lawrence into a prominent spot in the Sunflower League and in 6A in Kansas.
He's a 6'3", 200-pound quarterback who runs a 4.5-ish 40.
Yeah.
He's and coach's kid, right? I mean, there's some skill there.
No doubt. And then you take Jack Cornell out of Olathe East, and he led them to a little bit of a revival last year, and I'll be curious to see how he does. He's a pretty good passer. Here's one that's more of a run for first guy, but a great athlete. you want to talk about somebody who looked good standing there in his jersey at the DM Injury Law Media Day was Braven Powell from Gardner Edgerton. He looks like he could go get on the basketball court, whatever he wanted to do. And that's a guy who led them to a state championship last year, and they're going to ask a lot out of him this year.
Big, tall athlete from Gardner Edgerton.
We've heard that before.
Also started with B name, Bubba,
Yeah.
Braven, 2 classic Gardner Edgerton names. Why not? Run for 300 yards in a playoff game. Go ahead.
Okay, how about a guy like Marco Rodriguez out at Bishop Miege? That guy is one of those great, accurate Bishop Miege quarterbacks. You talk that he can spin it as well as anybody. He's a winner. They win a lot of games. He's going to be, they're going to be expected to win in 4A. And that's going to be one of those tests for him as he leads that team.
Yeah, I agree. And he's feeling a little bit of the same pressure probably that Tillman Martin is to some degree of, you're expected to be the best team in the state or one of the best ones, and you're the starting quarterback there. So are you able to do it? And I have no reason to believe Marco Rodriguez won't. I mean, I think he had a great season.
Guy looked good against Rockhurst last week was Hudson Bailey out at St. Pius. I think Pius has proven that they can offensively, especially in their passing game, they can move the ball on anybody. That was a pretty impressive performance. Even though they only scored 12 points last week, they were able to move the ball against a big physical Rockhurst defense, and he definitely keys that. Of course, he's Fontana winner from last year for small schools, but now he's up in the big schools.
Yeah, no, I think he did a great job just standing up in the pocket, taking on some heat and, really kind of elevated his status a little bit.
Rocco Marriott is a junior at Platte County, and he's a guy last year that wasn't the most accurate guy. He was below 50% for his passes, but from what I've heard in the summer, he really has kind of upped his game. You go from being 15 to 16, that changes things, but he's a big, strong, athletic kid. And that's a team, they've got Grain Valley this week. That's going to be a good test for them because that Grain Valley defense is always pretty solid, and they do a good job of taking away what you like to do. But he's a guy that you got to keep an eye on. You talk about winning things in postseason. You talk about Hudson Bailey and Rocco Marriott, guys in the same district. There could be a head-to-head kind of elimination game between those two down the line.
And, talking to Ross Martin, our Platte County guy, the last couple of years, Rocco's name always kind of came up, and this class was kind of one of the ones that was always mentioned. So I think they're expecting big things out of him this year there.
One last one, and Ethan Hansen, great high school quarterback, did a great job for Rockhurst last year, getting them to the semifinals. Charlie Luce from Rockhurst, I watched him move around and throw the ball. He's a good athlete who's got good, accurate passing skills. Did a good job of keeping them throwing enough passing in that game by moving his feet, getting out and moving around, which you don't necessarily, that's not a Rockhurst quarterback type thing. Did a fantastic job for them. That really set up a good win for them against St. Pius last week.
Yeah, he had a good kind of debut. I think, probably no quarterback in the city is going to go through as much, is going to see as much competition as he is this season.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, that's kind of our first little look as we talk elite team, and we got the quarterbacks out there, and we'll be adding and subtracting, and some more names will kind of go on that watch list as we go through, and we talk about that every week, and we'll talk about this at some point in the radio show, and we'll have a little podcast about it as well. And Cole, again, we'll talk to you later as we do picks at the end of the second hour.
Sounds good.